Hello, welcome back to Say P podcast. This is the 5049 show, and today we're going to be doing our NBA awards. This week while we're recording on the 14th of May. This is the last week of the NBA regular season, so we have to do the awards as they come straight up afterwards. I'm joined by my two friends today. One goes by the name, the biggest San Antonio fan I know, apart from Jam. Him and Jam together come as a collective. The only Sixers fan I know as well, Matt Donovan. Right, how you two?
Not bad, mate. How are you?
I'm all good. Bennett?
I'm doing great.
Both of these two guys are happy. I'm happy for one side, but this team right here on my left are letting me down, but my other team's not letting me down, so it's all good. Right, Coach of the Year, is that what we're starting with today?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Who's your number 5? We'll go with Bennett. Number 5.
I have got, now I want to say first, this top 5 was all interchangeable for me. Like, I think there's a debate for all of these guys that I've got, and I wouldn't be surprised if you have any of these guys a lot higher. So number 5, I have Steve Nash, number 5. Now, I did actually say before that I'd have him a lot higher, but I simply think that the guys ahead kind of have influenced the team a bit more because of their coaching, and I think more about sort of their coaching, not just the talent on their team. I know you could argue Steve Nash, he's had sort of a lot of players injured, and actually if you look at the minutes that the players have had, the players that get the most minutes are people like Bruce Brown, Joe Harris, Shamit, like not the big players that everyone thought would be. So so yeah, and I think being one of the first seasons of coaching the NBA, he's done pretty good, and maybe in the playoffs to prove it, because Nets look like favorites.
I do look like the favourites, Matt. Who's your number 5?
Yeah, I mean, I can back what Bennett's saying. Just quickly before, I don't have Steve Nash in my top 5. The only reason I must say before is you just look at the pieces he's got. If you're not doing well with those pieces, then you're a joke. Obviously, he is doing very well. So all credit to him. I just think, he's got off a bit lightly. So my number 5, I've gone for Nate McMillan. I think the Hawks, obviously, you can see by their improvements from last year, they're doing really well this season. I'm not sure if they've clinched playoffs yet, but they're looking to, and I think he deserves all the credit he can get.
The Hawks have clinched playoffs. They're the 4th seed. So yeah. My number 5 is also Steve Nash, and I'd like to mention that Kevin Durant, Harden, and Kyrie have only played 8 games together. So for most of this regular season, they've actually, the big 3 have not played together. For some part, the beginning, it was Kyrie and KD, then Harden came through, and then KD got injured, Kyrie got injured, Harden was playing by himself, then Harden got injured, Kyrie's playing by himself, then KD and Kyrie come back, and now they're all 3 are back together right now, present, and are all fit. Gone.
I just want to quickly say, I know it's a little bit off topic, but obviously you mentioned they've only played 8 games together. Is that a worry come playoff time?
No, because now they're all fit. They're all fit, and if you can keep all them fit, I reckon you don't even. All right, they're going to be the 1st or 2nd seed, so they're going to be facing. Okay, the Wizards might be a tough matchup for them, but if they get like the Pacers or all these teams, I wouldn't even worry. I wouldn't even play them for like extended minutes. You can keep, because when the playoffs come, you shorten that rotation down to 7 and 8. I reckon you can still keep it like a 9-10 man rotation with the Pacers. Make sure your stars don't burn out and save them for all that 2nd round matchup and all that sort of thing. So I feel like it will work. I do believe they'll go to the final if fit, and that's for a lot of teams like the Lakers. If fit, the Lakers are the favorites in the West, but if not fit, then Lakers are 1st round exits. So
yeah, well, I think kind of to add to sort of the Matt's question. I don't think it's the health that's really the problem for the Nets. I think it's more the chemistry factor. I mean, we've seen them play together and how good they are, but the fact they haven't played together a lot and they've just been pushed into the playoffs without having, you know, a lot of consecutive games played together, that might be a concern. That's why a lot of people thought the Nets wouldn't do that well at the start of the season. But now with Harden, that kind of, you know, having them, you know, 2 top 5 players, top 6 players in the league, and then Kyrie, borderline top 10, surely got to do well now. So, and also bearing in mind they've added depth from likes of Blake Griffin, Aldridge for a bit. You know, some of them guys made a lot of signings. So yeah, I think it's just more about the chemistry that's gonna affect them. But I still haven't get to the finals. I think it hopefully. I don't think it'll be a problem, but I wouldn't be surprised if it, you know, all collapses.
You know, they all struggle to if they play against Embiid, they don't have an answer for Embiid, and if they play against the Bucks, they don't really have an answer for Giannis. So it could be tough if they face one of them, but no one's gonna have an answer for their big three because not all teams have 3 great defenders that can guard all of them. So yeah, who's your number 4 then? No, I'll kick start number 4. Don't you worry. Number 4, I've got Doc Rivers. I think he's done a great job with the Philadelphia 76ers this year. You know, now they've gone from the 6 seed to the 1 seed. I think that's absolutely brilliant. He's the GM has brought in great talent through to support Ben Simmons and Embiid as the core of that franchise, like Seth Curry, Danny Green, just great shooters around them, and I think it's worked great. I like Doc Rivers, you know, he likes a full 10-man rotation. That's a Doc Rivers thing. He likes this 5 will play this minute, then he's got another bench crew coming in, and I quite like that. I think Doc Rivers has done a great job with the Philadelphia 76ers. So in fact, is my number 4. Matt, who you got?
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Even as a Philly fan, you know, it's heartbreaking to see him down at 4, but I can back that. I've gone for Schneider. I just think that overall, I mean, I don't really need to explain in too much detail. I think he's done brilliantly this year. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. Bennett.
I've gone for Monty Williams, number 4. Now, the reason why he might be as high as others is I think to give context, number 1, they signed Chris Paul, which I think is a lot of reasons for success. And B, I think coming off that, you know, when I don't know how many games they won in a row in the bubble, but that kind of showed, you know, coming into that season, you know, they were hot. And compared to some of these other people I'm looking at, I think they've done a bit more as a coach to help their team. I mean, you can look at the likes of people like, you know, Mikal Bridges improving. I mean, still Booker, Chris Paul's obviously been great. We all know the Chris Paul effect. So yeah. And I think, you know, as I said, you know, this is all interchangeable, but I think overall, I feel like it's not just him that's done it. I think it's the players as well, which, you know, you could say for that.
Of course. All right, Bennett, you can give us your number 3 while you're at it as well.
Yeah, so I think this is my nail on top 3, and I think it go with both ways, or 3 ways as that. So yeah, I've got Doc Rivers number 3. Now it goes without saying, you know, he's, you know, turned what they were 5th or 6th seed last year, to a 1 seed, and I think, you know, they have made the perfect acquisition. They were the best off seasons, but still, he's made Embiid have the best season of his career. You know, overall, his rotations are great, as Shalom mentioned earlier. Obviously, Simmons being great, Thibault coming through, Danny Green, you know, showing, you know, why he is valuable to a team. Same with Seth Curry, Tobias Harris, you know, having a great season. So overall, he's really just kind of developed his team, which I quite like. And he looks like Tyrese Maxey as well. He's looking like he could break out soon as well. I mean, he has, you know, shown glimpses of that. So overall, I think he's just made that team so much better. And, you know, could be a challenge to the Nets. You never know.
Exactly. Very much so. Matt?
I've gone for Monty Williams at 3. I think echoing what Bennett said, I think obviously, you know, he's done brilliantly and his players have improved lots. Now, whether the question that is they've put in the effort or he's sort of extracted that as a coach, obviously I don't have the answer to it, but I think as a coach, he's helped. I think he's helped them develop significantly, especially when you've got young pieces like Mikal Bridges that are important pieces in your side. I think he's done a brilliant job. And that's why, even with the acquirement of someone like Chris Paul, bringing them up to a second seed and challenging first seed has been brilliant for them. And I think he's fully deserved of being my number 3.
Very much so. Very much so. Number 3, I've got Quinn Schneider of the Utah Jazz. You know, the Utah Jazz, no one this season would have predicted they'll be the 1 seed. I think most people had them around that 7th, 8th, round there, just making the playoffs, or the play-in, sorry. They're definitely making the play-ins, the top end of it. I think that's where most people would have put them for this season. But Quinn Schneider, he's changed that. He's playing great. He's playing great. He's playing great system with the perimeter centric, and he's got the best shooting team in the league. Everything's just fell in place. He's got Gobert looking like he could win his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year. He's got Donovan Mitchell as an all-star again this season. Can't get my words out today, guys. But yeah, he's got great. He's making Jordan Clarkson have the best season of his career. Joe Ingles the best season of his career. He's got all these different pieces playing great. Royce O'Neal from Mike Conley having a bounce back year from having a terrible year last year. It's been great what Quinn Schneider has done down there in Utah. And I'll kick off with my number 2 as well. My number 2, you just said it. You said him, both of you just a round ago, Monty Williams. But he's taken that Suns team from an 11th seed to the 2nd seed, even a 1 seed for a period. And they've gone 15 plus in wins this season. I think that's just incredible. I know you say he's got Chris Paul and all these things, but I think it's more than that. It's getting the best out of those young players, as Matt was saying. You know, like the Cam Johnsons, the Mikal Bridges, the Booker. He's even made Booker's not had this best season, but he's having a great season again this season, putting up great numbers next to a veteran point guard and Chris Paul. He's also got a great developing center in DeAndre Ayton. I think the future's bright for the Suns, but I'm just wondering if Chris Paul, he's going to accept the team option this year, 100%. But if Chris Paul leaves in 1 year, I want to see who they bring in, and if Devin Booker can lead this team a bit more to the right direction, because I think Chris Paul's a very big factor in the Suns' success this season as well. Not like some people giving him all the credit, but I'd like to give him a lot of the credit for how well they are playing. And we all know Chris Paul is a franchise changer. Who's your number 2, Matt?
My number 2, I'm going to need some help on the pronunciation here, but I've gone for Tom Thibodeau. Pardon? Thibodeau. Yeah, I mean, look, I'd go into a big explanation, but I already know, just guessing, Lom's got him at 1. I'm guessing Bennett will have him at 1 or 2 as well. So you probably know a lot more about the Knicks game than I do as a Knicks fan, so I'll let you go into it. But he's been incredible.
Mm-hmm. Bennett?
I have got Quinn Schneider at number 2. Now, I think, you know, Shlom's kind of mentioned the basic stuff, you know, looking like they were going to be, well, most people thought they were going to be a 7-8 seed. I think I had them coming around the 6th, 5th seed, around that area coming into the season, and they'd just come off the blocks hot, making the 1st seed. And really, what's really stuck out is the fact that Donovan Mitchell has come out a perennial all-star for them, and they still haven't really dropped up in form as much. I mean, when I watched them play against my Spurs, they still look like a great team. I think it's great because they have so many shooters. I mean, as Shlom said, best shooting team in the league. And I think he's really, you know, utilized the assets he's got down there in Utah. And I think all players, you know, get involved. I mean, like, you know, got 2 6th Man of the Year candidates. We'll get to them later. And also, you know, the likes of Mike Conley, making an all-star game, not you know, deservedly, but he still made it, showing he had an okay season. And obviously Gobert, but we'll get him to him later as well. You know where I stand with Gobert. So yeah, I think Quinn Schneider really should be up there for Coach of the Year.
Matt, is this number 1? No, Bennett, who's your number 1?
Number 1, I'm loving this pick. I'm loving a bit of Tom Thibodeau from the Knicks. Now, I think what really stands out is the culture change for the Knicks. I mean, you could argue that's, you know, because of the likes of, you know, new general manager in, you know, a lot of new changes to the Knicks. But I think Tom Thibodeau has to be, you know, a big part of that. And I think it's the great, Knicks basketball's back. They're playing good basketball. I mean, it shows the fact that the roster, you can argue their roster isn't as talented as the likes of, I mean, they're better than they've got a better record than the Celtics, got a similar record to the Heat. Like, who would have thought that? Like, in terms of roster, they're probably, I mean, at the start of the season, they were at the bottom. But I mean, look how much, the likes of Julius Randle has improved. Quickly's looking like a future star. RJ Barrett is up there from MIP as well. So many players that I think have had such good seasons. And for me, he's just had the biggest impact out of these coaches.
Matt, he's your number one. Well, I think number one, but you can echo him. You can talk about him for a little bit more.
I think obviously I'm a Philly fan. My number one's Doc Rivers. I think we have had the best off season. However, the players we brought in weren't that impactful in terms of I don't think they were the big reason we went from 6 seed to 1 seed. Obviously, Danny Green is an elite defender, good shooter. Seth Curry, obviously one of the best shooters in the league. That's helped us out dramatically. But that was Daryl Morey. What Rivers has done was get the best out of players. You have Embiid, who's already one of the best centers in the league. Rivers comes in, gets even more out of him, which is why he's arguably one of the best players this year. Simmons, he's helped elevate, even though statistically he doesn't look like it. He has helped Simmons improve as a passer, as a defender, just in general has helped his impact on the team hugely. And that's why I think he is the number one in terms of elevating an already decent team to the best. What are you going to say, Dom?
I agree with that, but you not feel like Simmons' success has also come with the fact that he put shooters around him. The poor spacing that he had last season with you're playing two centers pretty much of Embiid and Al Horford. Tobias Harris wasn't like this from 3 last season. All these different aspects. Josh Richardson isn't like that from 3, like Steph Curry. Seth Curry. Do you not feel like Simmons' success has not come from due to the spacing also, and even Embiid's progress has come due to spacing. He can get more touches in the paint. No one's clogging up the paint with him. I feel like a lot of it is to do with your off season, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And on that, Tobias Harris, obviously his prime season before this year was at the Clippers under Rivers. So bringing in Rivers was also great in bringing out the best in Tobias Harris, who has now become just a brilliant all-round player. But on that, I think I completely agree. Bringing in shooting assets helped significantly, particularly with Simmons, who's obviously not a shooter. I think he's improving, not by much. But when you have people like Embiid, if anything, he's taking more shots from the perimeter. He's taking more threes, more deep mid-ranges. So he is spaced out himself a lot more as well. So I completely agree with you. And I can see why you'd have Tom Thibodeau at 1. But for me, it's more to do with the system, the game plan, which is why we've gone to a 1 seed rather than the off season.
I'll tell you why Tom Thibodeau is number 1, Matt, right now.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you why. The Knicks last season, 12th seed, down tremendous. Absolutely down tremendous. There's no other way to put it. We fire not during the lockdown period. We fire our coach. We bring in Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau, a lot of people's like, right, this is not a great coach signing. Tom Thibodeau's going to start playing RJ Barrett for 40 minutes, Randall for 40 minutes. He's not going to bring in the young pieces because, Tom Thibodeau's not good with young pieces. One thing we all know Tom Thibodeau's going to do is going to bring back them Chicago boys from back in 2010. Because that's what he does wherever he goes. He does it. He brought them to Minnesota, and he did pretty much do that with the Knicks as well. He did bring back some of the Chicago boys. But what I'm trying to tell you of how much this man has impacted the team. He's got Julius Randle as an all-star. If you told me that before the season, are you crazy? Julius Randle an all-star. For real. This guy was putting up 20 and 10, but it was an ugly 20 and 10. He wasn't trying. Like, it's almost like he didn't care. If
I'll tell you one moment. Someone's here.
Oh. Yeah, I'll talk to Bennett then. It's almost like he wasn't here. You know what I mean? And it's just incredible how much he's impacted the team. He's got RJ Barrett, who really struggled last season, becoming a great 3-point shooter now. He's really expanded out his game. He's playing even better. He's got, even when Mitchell Robinson went down, Nerlens Noel has filled in that role to a T. He's become even a better defender. And that's one thing I want to echo as well. The Knicks, I would say, it does not say that in defensive rating, but the Knicks are the best defending basketball team in the NBA. If you watch them just with your eyes, you know, there's not like one great outstanding defender there. It's a great.
Come on.
It's a great team effort from the Knicks of how good they are on defense. You know, Juice Randle is not a great defender, but you have Nerlens Noel next to him, who's doing great. You have all these different pieces. He's got the best. He's getting Derrick Rose back to being not one of his best seasons since he was in Madison Square in like 2015 when he had that 18-point season with the Knicks in his first stint with us. You know, absolutely incredible what this man's done. He's just got the whole of New York buzzing. King Julius, the king of New York. I don't care about you Brooklyn Nets people. They ain't have no Brooklyn Nets fans in the world. Let's be for real. If you're in New York, you support the Knicks. So the Knicks are rocking 6th seed right now. We need that 5th seed though. We do need that 5th seed. I do not want to play the Bucks in the first round. I want to see if we can win. I want to see if we can win something. But Tom Thibodeau, 21 plus wins from last season. Guaranteed playoffs. Tom Thibodeau is my number one.
Love that.